The LA Clippers are coming off an incredible win over the Lakers just last night and are continuing to prove to the world why they have one of the deepest rosters in the entire NBA. With Paul George out for the rest of the regular season, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, and so many other players have been stepping up big time for the Clippers. And the crazy thing is, when many people believed that Russell Westbrook's time in the NBA was coming to an end due to his lack of production, he completely changed the narrative here with the Clippers. We are currently just a few days away from the start of the NBA playoffs in the play-in tournament, while the Clippers are sitting uncomfortably in the 5 seed, tied with the Warriors at 6, and only one game above the Lakers and the Pelicans at the 7 and 8 seeds. In this video, I'll be breaking down the 3 major factors why I believe that the Clippers are the NBA's biggest dark horse this season to win it all, and what they need to do in order to shock the world in these playoffs. However, before we jump into the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. It helps out the channel so much, so let's see if we can get this video up to 400 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the Clippers and the rest of the NBA all year long, so join the family. And one last thing, comment down below, who do you believe is the most underrated player on this Clippers team right now? Now, without any further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, the first major X factor for the Clippers going forward is going to be finding a sense of consistency within this defense. Now, let's take a look at the entire season and where they compared to the rest of the NBA. The Clippers so far this year ranking number 13 in points a game or points per game allowed, number 21 in fast break points allowed, number 19 in points allowed in the paint, number 9 in assists allowed per game, and number 11 in rebounds allowed per game. Overall, not too bad, but could obviously be better, and they will need to be better if they want a shot at an NBA championship this season. Now, I also want to point out that the Clippers have been without Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook for a ton of games this season. They haven't really played too many games together as a unit, so expect that to overall just change when they're fully healthy. But I can only imagine how good this team can be at their full potential, which I don't even think we've seen yet. Now, let's check out some of these numbers that they've allowed in terms of shooting metrics. Now, the Clippers rank number 18 in three-point percentage allowed, number 11 in two-point percentage allowed, number 15 in true shooting percentage allowed, number 14 in opposing field goals made per game, and number 12 in opposing three-pointers made per game. Overall, the Clippers are very middle of the pack, which is kind of impressive simply because Kawhi Leonard has only played a total of 38 games with Paul George this season. And then you add in the fact that Russell Westbrook has barely played with them either. It's kind of impressive. They can only get better from here when they're fully healthy. Now, as I sit here and record this video, I truly believe that the Clippers have the deepest roster in the whole entire league, which we'll talk about in a minute. But health is going to be very vital for this team in the playoffs. Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, these guys need to be fully healthy or their season could be ending early. But also, once they're back to full strength, they also need to find that consistency defensively. And there's another stat I want to point out to you guys, which is points allowed per quarter. Now, the Clippers are currently ranking number 5. Listen to this. Number 5 in first quarter points allowed, which is amazing, right? And then number 22 in second quarter points allowed, right? So they go from a very top defense to a very, below average defense. And then third quarters, they're ranking number 4. So they're back to a top 5 defense in third quarters. And then the fourth quarter, they drop down to 15. So very middle of the pack there. So they're very, very, very inconsistent. Literally the definition of inconsistency right there. If they can't put together a full 48 minutes of solid top 10 defense, or if they can, they will be a top 10 contender to come out the West. And that's just my opinion. Let me know if you guys feel differently. But if they can put together a top 10 defense in all 4 quarters, they will be unstoppable. I mean, even if they do it first, third, and fourth quarters, that's fine too. If the second quarters they struggle a little bit, that is completely okay. The most important time to play defense is the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Also, third quarter coming out of halftime break, that's also very important as well. But if they can just do it 3 out of 4 quarters, they will be almost unstoppable, defensively. Now, before we jump into the second major factor, make sure you guys smash that like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Subscribe if you're new. I will be covering the entire NBA playoffs, and so much more. So join the family. If you're new, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified every time we post a video. But let's get into the second major factor, and it will be strictly going to be the depth of this team, how they play in the playoffs. Listen, like I said before, the Clippers have one of the most overpowered benches in the entire NBA, and truly, in my opinion, they have 4 to 6 guys coming off the bench who could be starters or even big-time role players in other places. Now, the 3 biggest depth X factors going into the playoffs will firstly be Norman Powell. Norman Powell has been playing like a 6th Man of the Year candidate all year long, and just last night he had an incredible performance, helping lead his team to a massive win where he dropped 27 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists while shooting 8 of 15 from the field, and was just overall amazing. Now, he will need to continue putting up games like this in the playoffs, and it cannot be a no-show. Now, I'm not saying he needs to average 27 points a game in the playoffs, but if he could roughly average 17 to 21 points off the bench in the playoffs, that would drastically improve their chances to get to the NBA Finals. Another guy who will be extremely important is Terence Mann, one of my favorite players on this team, and is another example of a guy who could start on a ton of other teams in the league, a 6'5 guard who could defend and score at a high level at big moments in the game. They will need Terence Mann to come off the bench and provide them a solid 14 to 18 minutes a game, just giving them that dog mentality and a sense of a spark plug coming off the bench. Over the season, Mann is averaging 8.9 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, while shooting 51.9% from the field and roughly 40% from the three-point line. Lastly, Nicholas Batum. Batum has stepped up massively with Paul George out and has fully embraced his full-time role into the starting lineup over the last couple of weeks. He is one of the best three-point shooters on the team right now, shooting 44% in their last 10 games from behind the arc. If he can be reliable in these playoffs, that will make them so hard to defend. Schematically, it will make teams struggle to find a game plan to stop Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and then the ton of shooters in Nicholas Batum, Eric Gordon, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Terence Mann, Bones Highland. I mean, the shooting they have on this team is absolutely insane. And then you also have a guy like Marcus Morris. I mean, this team is stacked. Stacked. Not only will these 3 depth guys be vital, but pretty much everyone who steps onto the floor will be crucial. Now, guys like Marcus Morris, Eric Gordon, Mason Plumlee, Zubac, Bones Highland, Robert Covington, they will need to play consistently with a ton of energy going forward, and they will also be a huge factor. Now, moving on to our third and final factor, it will be just reaching their max potential offensively. Now, as we all know, the Clippers, offense, they've shown great flashes of just being, top tier. Now, I mean, just look back at the game where they played versus the Kings a couple of months ago, and they went toe-to-toe with them, putting up an incredible fight. I think they had 175 points in that game versus, the best offense in all of basketball, the Sacramento Kings. And with the shot creators they have all over this roster, we know that this is very much capable. Now, let's take a look back at the whole season and see who they ranked offensively compared to the rest of the league. The Clippers ranked number 20 in points per game, number 20 in fast break points per game, number 27 in points in the paint, number 24 in assists per game, and number 16 in rebounds per game. If the Clippers can't find themselves offensively, then that's it. The season's going to be over prematurely. However, I don't believe that's going to be the case at all. I do think that they will hit the floor running once the playoffs start, and they're going to surprise a ton of people heading into the playoffs. They also rank number 11 in effective field goal percentage, number 2 in three-point percentage, number 10 in three-pointers made per game, and number 23 in field goals attempted per game. What this tells me is that if they can find a way to put up some more shot attempts, especially some 3 balls, it's over. Shooting it at the second best clip of the season, if they can just put up some more shots, they will be incredibly good. Now, the Clippers average 14 turnovers a game, which is not good at all, and they need to limit their turnovers heading into the playoffs. Now, right away, if you turn over the ball 14 times, you're getting 14 less shot attempts. So they need to be better in that category. But overall, there are some areas that the Clippers need to improve on over these next couple of days. But I do believe when they're fully healthy, they will be able to shock the world over these next couple of weeks heading into the playoffs. Now, this is when I want to hear what you guys have to say. What is your opinion? What do you think the true potential of this Clippers team is? What do you think they need to do in order to win a championship this season? But with that being said, make sure you guys subscribe, smash that like button, join the family. I will be live. we will be live streaming almost every single playoff game. What that means is we're going to be live streaming, going live, talking to you guys, commentating games, interacting, reacting, whatever. We're going to be going live, posting a bunch of videos throughout the playoffs, so make sure you guys join the family, turn on them post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.